I think the PlayStation 5 Digital Edition is a joke. I think Sony made it because they heard Xbox was making a digital console. And while that is true, Xbox did not just make a digital version of the Series X with the Series S. They made an entirely different Xbox category. I've talked about that in other videos, so I'm not going to get into that here. But this video is pertaining to the recent updates, I guess you could call them, to the way you're now able to purchase digital content from the PlayStation Store on a PlayStation 3, PlayStation Vita, or PlayStation Portable. A while back, PlayStation had announced that they were going to shut down the stores entirely. They said basically, hey, we don't want to keep running these servers for these stores. We don't want to have to keep processing transactions for them. It's just a lot of work to let you, the consumer, use your console. And that did not blow over well. No, the internet let them have their 2 cents. The same way they did when Xbox tried increasing the price for Xbox Live Gold to $120 a year. They tried doubling the price. They went back on that very quickly. However, with that being said, I do think there was ulterior motives for why Xbox did that, which I won't get into in this video because I want to focus really on PlayStation for a change, I guess. Even though it's negative. The PlayStation 5 Digital Edition, as I mentioned, I believe only exists because someone at Sony heard that Xbox was making a digital Xbox. And these companies really, really want you to buy into this digital future. However, all three of them have not a great track record for keeping up with not only legacy titles, but supporting your digital content. Xbox has been the far superior of the three, of Nintendo, of PlayStation, and of Xbox. They have been the ones to really push that forward and put policies in place that more assure you that if you purchase a game via the Microsoft Store on your Xbox, the chances of you being able to play that even 15 years from now, very high, because there are games more than 15 years back that you can play right now on your Xbox Series X or S if you had bought it digitally or something. So that's besides the point. Now, recently, PlayStation went ahead, if you haven't heard, you are not able to use your credit or debit card anymore on the, not right now, but starting, I believe, the end of October here or something. I don't have the exact date, but you will not be able to use your credit, debit, or PayPal to purchase funds or games directly on these older consoles, the PS3, Vita, and PSP. So the workaround is, of course, you log into your PS4, your PS5, mobile app, maybe the web browser. You have to go around that, add funds that way, or use a PlayStation gift card, which means you'd have to go physically buy one at the store or maybe just order one online, however you do that. The point is, it's not as easy. And I know on the surface it seems a little thing. You could just chalk it down to they don't want to partner with these. You know, anytime they process a transaction, a little part of that transaction has to go towards the Visa or MasterCard. Or, you know, they all get a little bit of share from, hey, we provided this platform. Visa says we provided this platform for them to use their money to buy things from you. And then everyone gets a little bit of share. You get the game. All the companies get their money. done deal. Sony you could just say, oh, well, they don't want to worry about that, right? They'll keep the stores open, but it's too much for them to say, hey, we got to keep giving Visa this little bit, that little bit. And I'm not saying they're the worst PlayStation. I'm not saying they're the worst with this whole setup. And Nintendo, by contrast, is the worst. Recently, it seems that the eShop is kind of the go-to, so maybe it'll get better in the future. But even Nintendo is quick to say, hey, we're done with the store. Sorry, they got the Wii. You have the Wii. So many people bought games on the Wii. I have so many games I bought on the Wii, transferred to my Wii U, and I'm shit out of luck if I want to even re-download something that I deleted, let alone purchase something new. And even the eShop, I believe on the Wii U and 3DS, I believe they also announced something similar. You won't be able to use your credit or debit card. I could be wrong on that. I might have just been a rumor maybe I read, but the point is, these things happen. And the issue with that is I think we're starting to realize, and I'm starting to realize, that these companies aren't seeing these consoles the way we do. I am able right now with what I own to play every game from every generation, from the PlayStation 1 era, basically once the discs started becoming mainstream. If it uses a cartridge, that's a different thing. The only way I could do that is Nintendo, pretty much is who we're talking about here, and I could only do that digitally through some virtual console or something like that. But if it ran a disc, I have a way to play a physical disc on that, whether it's the GameCube, or I use my Wii U as a 2-in-1 for Wii and Wii U games. My PS3 plays PS1 and PS3 games. I have a PS2 and so forth, and so I'm not worried about that, but I understand that there's many people that the only way they can really realistically get some of these games that they want to try is the digital store. So if you have a PS5 digital edition, I think you're setting yourself up for failure, at least given the way Sony and PlayStation has handled these things in the past and the way that they're going forward now. If you build this digital library and they just want to change policies 10 years from now, I mean, you have two mindsets. Oh, well, that's done and said. I don't need to play those games anymore. The ones that were really good, they'll re-release for 70, 80, whatever amount of dollars they find necessary to make you pay in the future. Or you're gonna build your physical library. And there are certain games personally that I've kind of gone back and forth on. With my Xbox, I've gone all digital because the games I'm playing are kind of games that won't really matter much in the end run. Call of Duty, Battlefield, those games, while fun to visit, aren't something that you'd want to go really replay, unlike maybe a Sony exclusive or even the Halo games or something like that. So I'm not worried about my current setup. But if you are trying to jump into this all digital thing, as I even did with my Nintendo Switch, I take my Switch to work. I don't have a lot of games, not hundreds, but close to 100 games now that I own on the Switch that I would not want to think about carrying cartridges with me everywhere to swap in and out games. I can quickly, close one, open the other, done deal. But as I think about it more, I'm kind of upset that I did that, because seeing how Nintendo is treating the eShop on the Wii U, the 3DS, I know that even though the eShop seems like, okay, this is it for Nintendo, they figured out their online marketplace, they figured out how to provide that e-commerce to us. I thought that with the DSi shop or the Wii Shop channel. I thought when the DSi and the Wii were the big things and they were like, wow, these stores are so similar that they work the same way, they're laid out the same, it felt good. I didn't realize then, but I realize now that those were still two different entities. And I think that's the issue here. The PlayStation Nintendo, and maybe this is a Japanese mindset. I mean, these are both companies based out of Japan, so maybe that it's a cultural thing, I don't know. But it seems that each console and each marketplace, for that matter, that goes with that console it's a different item. While Microsoft sees it as you buy Xbox, you buy a game on Xbox, it belongs on your Xbox. You buy a game from the Microsoft store. You didn't buy it on the Xbox One store, so that doesn't mean you can't play it on the Xbox Series X store, right? You bought it on the Microsoft store. You buy I think they transitioned early. Whoever was in charge at the time realized, okay, this Xbox marketplace thing that they had set up during the 360 era, they realized, okay, we have to really quickly streamline this and unionize everything, because ultimately it's going to be more pain and headache in the future to say, hey, now we have to build up an entire new store. We have to do this, and that. Now we can just easily make this new box that we create another access point into our bigger store, which is more enticing for people who want to do digital content, because that's all there. Now, the PlayStation 5, for example, the newest console, there are games on the PlayStation Store that I simply cannot get access to. There are PS2 titles that just simply do not show up because it's not the PlayStation Store, it's the PlayStation 5 Store. It's all the same name, such as the eShop. It's all the Nintendo eShop. But the eShop on the Wii U, the eShop on the Switch, on the 3DS, it's a different eShop. It's an eShop for that platform. And that's the issue here, is these companies, Nintendo and Sony, they see that console as its own platform. They don't see PlayStation as the platform. At least they're not treating it like that. So, I mean, that's really all I have to say about it. I really wanted to make sure that if you are trying to go all digital this generation, as they heavily advertise, there's so much. Digital games have, obviously, I'm sure through help with PC players, of course, and if you're a PC gamer, I get it, you're better, blah, blah, blah. You're on the wrong video, sorry. But if you're a console gamer and you wanted to simplify your life, and you wanted to say, hey, I'm kind of tired of having these shelves. I personally have tubs of games in my garage, like containers of just physical games that, I mean, while it's fun to go through and look at, it's more of an inconvenience for me to say, hey, I want to play this game, let me go in my garage, find the correct tub, and dig through it, etc. It's just too much sometimes, or in the moment. So for that reason, digital content has been pushed more as a convenience thing, which it is. It absolutely is. I'm ready to play Battlefield and Halo and Call of Duty the second they release, because they're pre-installed on my console. They're ready to go. I don't have to go to GameStop or Best Buy or whoever it is and buy the disc or grab the disc and run home, install. I don't have to do any of that now. So there is a convenience factor, hands down. But maybe just think long term. If you care about being able to play the games that you own because you purchased the license for it, obviously, if you care about that, even if you think 4, 5, 10 years from now, whatever time frame it'll be, if you like to hold on to your consoles, there are people in comments of other videos I've made telling me that they are genuinely upgrading from the 360. Should I get the Series X or S? They're asking these sorts of questions. Oh, hey, I'm on a PS3. Should I switch to the Xbox? Should I get the new PS5? That's a different conversation, but that exists. Okay, whether it's a small number of people, whether it's a large, I don't know. But the point is that exists. And for those people, it is a deciding factor. So, like I said before, if you have a PS5 digital edition and your goal going into that was, I want to go all digital, clearly these companies are providing these digital options because that's the future. I agree with you to an extent. Digital is the future, but there's a lot of work these companies need to do before they can just say, all right, guys, no more discs, no more cartridges, or whatever it may be, So anyway, take that into consideration. Take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. This is just my opinion. And I just wanted to make sure that you know, if you're watching this, you're aware. You know, I want to make sure that you know what's going on. So anyway, that's all I got for right now. Catch you in the next one.